All right. So let's talk about how do you price your cake starting off? Because I know that that's always something that bakers want to know, not just new bakers, but even more experienced people that have been in the game for a little bit. It's like
Mhm.
how do you price your cakes to make sure that you're being fair to your clients, but you're also being fair to yourself. So I know there's multiple things that kind of go into pricing a cake, things that you need to understand. Um, like like what, Carrie? Like what do they need to think about when they think about pricing a cake?
Okay, so yes, pricing your cakes is a hot topic in the cake community. It's everything, it's what everybody wants to know. So, yeah, so basically, when you're trying to price your cake, you want to take everything into account: the cost of your materials, the time that you're going to spend decorating a cake. And we're talking about, don't just think about the decoration part. You're going to have to bake it. You're going to have to cool it. So there's going to be, and I know while it's cooling, you're not working on it, but still, like, you're just take everything into account is basically what I'm trying to say. And you're talking about gas for your car, the wear and tear on your car, the wear and tear on your equipment. You want to include a fee in each cake for maintenance on your equipment. Should your KitchenAid go out, you have a little fund that you set aside with every order that you take. So just all of those, making sure that you can make like a really itemized list of everything you use. Some people, I use toothpicks to check my cakes. So you want to make sure that don't don't think, oh, it's just a toothpick, because it all adds up. So don't sell yourself short, and make sure that you're charging for everything,
Well, another
basically.
thing too, utilities. Like, I mean,
Uh,
like
yes, your utilities.
electricity, things like that, which I know that it's hard. You're not going to know, well, I did this cake and if my electric bill is $150, then $7.20 is
Mm,
because I did that cake. You can look and compare your electric bill, from, this month, this year to last year, things like that, but it's not going to be exact. So you just need to make sure that you build in money because it's being paid for somehow, you know what I mean?
right.
And so when you talk about different pricing strategies, I mean, so a very simple model would be you're going to take all of your hard costs, things that like your ingredients, things like that. Also keeping in mind that if you buy, a bag of flour, you're not going to use that whole bag on that one cake. So,
Mhm.
but your hard costs and then plus, like kind of like cost plus. So your hard cost plus 50%. That's one way to price your cakes. Another way to do it would be to take your hard cost, calculate, maybe allow like 10% to cover these invisible, intangible costs like gas in your car, your utilities, things like that, and then add an hourly rate on top of it.
Mhm.
So if you think, well, this case going to take me 5 hours, I want to make $15 an hour, that's going to be $75 on top of all of that. That's a pretty easy thing to do.
Mhm.
Another way you can price cakes is just kind of check your local market because what we're able to charge here in Fort Worth, Texas, the market in San Antonio might be different. The market in, Biloxi, Mississippi might be different. So you can just check look, what are other bakers charging? And then you can come in under that, especially starting out. And then, um, to me, really probably one of the best ways, and which is the way that we do, is everything starts with the price per serving. So if it's a wedding and there's going to be 100 servings, that's kind of our baseline. And there's other things that factor in. It's not just the price per serving.
Mhm.
So what are some other things that we kind of factor in? Because would you agree, like in the beginning when Carrie's pricing her cakes, because she's always, Bobby, what do you think? What do you think? And most of the time it's funny, we're on the same page, but like
Mm.
back in the day, it's just like, oh, I'm gonna charge $40 for this cake. We have no idea, you know what I mean? We probably lost money
Yeah.
in the beginning, but like now, like we start with the per serving price.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, you want to start, like, well, let you want, you can do whichever one of these that we've mentioned, but what I've landed on is the per slice serving. And usually it starts there, and then if there's any other design elements that the cake needs to have incorporated, like, say for example, purchasing like a toy set, like your Disney princesses and stuff like that, that you may spend $20 if you get it, from the Disney store or something like that. So you want to do your per slice cost plus the cost of the dolls that you're going to use and that kind of stuff. So um or if you are going to buy something and your per serving covers the cost of that, then you don't mess with the per serving. So it's just, you will determine what is fair for you. So, if you're going to have to buy more elements, it's going to add, then adjust your per serving sizes. If not, just do a per serving plus decorations, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, and also an additional elements will be flowers, anything like that.
Exactly.
You also factor in like a premium flavor, like if somebody wants Italian cream versus just plain white, level of difficulty on the design.
Exactly. Yeah. And also, yeah, because like you are going to develop skills, but not all of your skills are going to be professional looking and whatnot. So, for example, like he said, the flowers, if they want these beautiful flowers and you know that your level of skill doesn't, and is not there, and you're going to have to buy these flowers, you want to add the cost of the flowers and all of that good stuff. You're going to add the cost of your boards, your boxes, all that kind of stuff that goes into pricing your cakes.
Yeah. And in case you're wondering, one thing I will say, probably like a good starting point for most bakers, again, depending on your market, is going to be, I would say start off, Carrie, we were talking about this, maybe $2.75 to $3 per slice.
I think that's a safe. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. So, that's a good, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's a safe starting point if you're an inexperienced baker, like if you're starting out from ground zero. If you're starting out as a business, but you do have developed skills, then of course, you can start a little higher. But even if you're starting out, just so that the word is out there and people start looking at you because your prices are good, then absolutely start like kind of somewhere in between. And then over time, you can say, hey, things have gotten a little bit more expensive and that kind of stuff. And then you can increase your prices, over time.
Well, things do factor in, like even like COVID literally shut our business down. And so we spent, 2021 recovering and rebuilding, but like for an, 18 count of eggs, which we had gotten before for like under $2, now we're paying $7.
Yes.
And so all those costs have to be passed on to the client. And those are definitely things that you need to think about. And so, you start talking about then, okay, well, like, okay, this is where I start, like when and how can you increase, your prices? And a lot of that is going to, I think the market will help you determine that, the more people are coming to you, the more people want to buy cakes from you. They'll let you know that you're doing the right thing, the right things. But also as your skill level increases, you can charge more per slice, more per hour, whatever it is that you want.
Yeah.
But can you kind of would you say, here, were there some milestones or anything in our journey where you would say like we knew, well, like for example, after you're on Cake Wars, like we 100% knew that we needed to start charging more.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause once, I had that exposure, more people were coming to me. And so you start also getting so many orders that you are not going to be able to handle. So you want to go up a little bit so that way it helps you to not kill yourself, basically, trying to fulfill all of these orders when it's just you. Now you can also expand from there, but of course this will be covered later. But yeah, there are things that are going to determine whether you can charge a little bit more or you're at the right place, or if you're charging too low. If everybody's ordering from you and you can't catch a break, you're probably charging too low for your case.
Well, that's something even to this day, I think sometimes I have to remind Carrie, that I'm like, Carrie, you've been doing this for 20 years. You're on Cake Wars. Like you can charge more for your cakes than you even do sometimes.
Yes. And this is the thing with me. Like I saving money is a sport for me. So I take on this mentality that everybody's like me, and which is not true, but we'll cover this also in a later course.
Or a later module.
Exactly. Yes. In a later module. Sorry.
Yeah. And for all of our coaching group, I have an Excel spreadsheet that they have that it's a cost calculator where you can calculate all of your ingredients. You just kind of plug and play, determine cost for your cake and everything there to really, really make it easy. Now, here's a big question. This is something that, again, we still talk about to this day. How do you charge your family and friends? Like we have what I call a family and friends discount, but how do you charge family and friends? And how does that change from when you're first starting out? Because those are going to be the people that are your client base more starting out.
Yeah.
And so like, how do you price your cakes for family and friends starting out? And then like, what's our strategy now?
Okay. Family and friends. That's a very big gray area, because you want initially, because you're starting out, you're like, oh, I'm just going to give this cake for free. And it's not going to look that great or whatever. Don't do that. Don't do that, because what you end up teaching these people is that your art, your work is not worth anything. And when you want to start charging them, they're going to look at you sideways and they're going to be like, hold on, you're going to charge me how much? You're supposed to be my friend. And it's insane to me, because yes, we're supposed to be friends. You don't want to pay me, but you want to pay John Doe down the street. Hello. So don't do that, because it gets sticky and it'll cause problems in your relationship. So starting off, at least charge them for all of your materials, and maybe just, I don't know, pay yourself $25 for it. Charge them something, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Charge them something so they don't get used to getting things from you for free. So right now, what we do is I landed on giving my friends a 20% discount. That's it. So I price my cake as I would regularly price it. And then I tell them, hey, this is how much I would have charged for this cake, but I'm adding a 20% discount 20% friends discount. And this is how much you're going to save. So the cost of the cake is going to be this much. So, and it's worked out really great. Like, most of my friends order from me now, and there's no problem. But it took me a while to get them used to this. And had I started like this, there wouldn't have been any hiccups or anything like that.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And now, if you're just starting out from like ground zero, the way Carrie started, again, I wouldn't do a cake for anybody for free, but do samples. Like do samples that people can taste, give you feedback on flavors and things like that. But at the very least, if, cover your material costs and make sure that they know there's a reason behind it. Like, hey, I'm working on this flavor. I'm working on this design technique or whatever. So I'm just going to charge you for my, to cover my cost. And then even then you can let them know, like, hey, if you're anybody else, this cake would cost $100, $150. So make sure that they know that, because again, and you will, when you do increase your prices, you are going to lose some clients just because people are used to paying a certain thing. But so, and I guess that would be one more thing that we would want to talk about is like, how do you handle like price negotiations and objections? Because one thing that we say all the time, we say it a lot around here, is like, somebody wants a super cheap cake, like say, go to Walmart. You know what I mean? Like, she doesn't do Walmart cakes. She doesn't do cheap cakes. The only time she'll even do a sheet cake is if, like, for a wedding, sometimes we may do like faux tiers and things, or a faux design with just the top tier for the bride and groom. But then we have sheet cakes that are already pre-cut and served. She will do that, but like, she doesn't do sheet cakes. We don't do, like, again, this isn't Walmart, this isn't Sam's, this isn't Costco.
You're getting a custom made piece, a work of art.
So how do you handle it? How would you recommend handling then if somebody, you quote them a price and they balk at the price?
Well, you want to make sure that you just let them know, hey, I'm using quality ingredients. I'm making your cake fresh. This requires skills. You're paying for what you're going to get, so it's not like mass produced. You're not, buying a cake that's been in the refrigerator for
2 days.
Yeah, 2 days. This is baked specifically for you. So those are the things that you want to highlight with your customers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Am I forgetting anything?
No, I think that's good. I think that's good. Well, because I mean, it's really just, you have to value what you do and what you bring to the table. And if it's somebody that because like I'll tell Carrie a lot too, when she's pricing a cake, we'll like, maybe their budget was $150 and we price it and she says, well, gosh, man, this is going to be $240. They're probably not going to want to go with it. And I'm just like, your price is your price. Now, again, if it's somebody that you think maybe there's some long-term value there or whatever, you can always say, look, this is how much this is what my price is. but because I value you as a customer, I'll give you my friends and family discount. I'll give you
Yes.
20% off, things like that. There are different ways to handle it. One thing that we didn't talk about that I'll just mention kind of at the tail end of this video is delivery, because at some point you will be delivering cakes. Again, there's no hard and fast rule about delivery. We have a price that we charge if it's within a 20-mile radius, outside of a 20-mile radius. And then we also have a limit as to how far we will drive and deliver. And that's again, but I would say anywhere 40 to $50 is probably going to be an average that you might charge for delivery. And we always give clients, that option. I mean, if that's what they want. So
Yeah.
any last words on pricing strategies, anything?
Pricing strategies, don't sell yourself short. That's my biggest advice, because you wouldn't do it. Like I said earlier, just remember, this is your art, this is your craft. You have taken time and you've gone to classes, you've taken online courses, and you've spent money on getting yourself to a place that you have these skills to offer. So make sure that you value those and that you teach people how to value those as well.
Yeah. And I think one last thing that I just thought of that I'll mention is keep in mind too, that what you charge now, this is your starting point. What you make per cake right now is your starting point. So, again, because you can't charge premium prices if you don't have the skins on the wall, but the cake right now that you're charging $100 for, that's going to take you 10 hours to bake, and you feel like you're not making anything off of it. A year from now, that same cake, you might be able to charge $150 for it. And it may only take you 5 hours for it. So the better you get, the more you're going to be able to charge and the less time it's going to take you. And so, again, you're kind of honing your craft. So
yeah. And so to begin with, be fair with kind of basically what he was saying. Be fair, because you don't want to burn bridges. Like, people get a cake from you, they're dissatisfied and they pay too much. You know what I'm saying? So if you know that it's not going to be like a super crisp, just charge accordingly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're starting out and you're trying to perfect your skill.
Yeah. So we hope that this helps. If you have any questions on pricing strategies, anything that we talked about in this video, shoot us an email at support@myhomebasedcakebusiness.com. We'll do our best to, respond within 24 to 48 hours. But again, we hope this helps you out as you're starting out, or even if you've been doing this for a while. So we will see you in the next video.